Everybody, my name is Wes. This is Top Shelfers, and we just got done beating Flintlock Siege of Dawn. What a wild game! Um, I feel a little underwhelmed with the ending. It just kind of seemed like abruptly we're done, and that last boss fight was ridiculous. I don't know. So, if this is one of your first times watching my reviews, I rate games on 10, sometimes 11 different categories: graphics, gameplay, story, audio, replayability, difficulty, world design, performance, community and multiplayer if it's applicable, innovation, and hours versus dollars. So let's pull up our. See if we can get this refreshed here. No, we spent more time in it than that. So we just got done. I guess it took us 8.4 hours. So I guess that was the running total. I don't know. 8.4 hours to beat this game. It was I don't know. I'm so torn between what I think of this game. It's a Souls-like. It had different combat kinda, and the movement was really good, but there was a lot of stuff that just didn't quite click. So we'll just hop into it. So, first rating, graphics and visuals. The quality of the game's graphics, including art style, realism, animation quality, and overall visual appeal. The game didn't look bad by any stretch of imagination. I don't think it's anything to write home about. There was glimpses of really like high quality scenes, high quality areas. There was glimpses of it, but it just wasn't throughout the whole game. There was a lot of dead areas and boring and not super thrilling. But then there was some stuff like that last boss room that was magnificent and super cool looking. So I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Gameplay mechanics, so how smooth and intuitive the controls are, the complexity and depth of gameplay systems, and the overall enjoyment of playing the game. This is an interesting one because I actually really had fun with the movement. The combat was fun. It was a little bit different. You had a little fox friend with you that you could team up and do moves with. There's curses, there's fire damage. It was fun to play. It really was fun to play, but I still feel like there was just something off. There was something missing. It's definitely not a big budget type game, even though there was little semblances of a big budget game. There was just something clunky and slow. There was lots of bugs with the movement, glitches, little like you felt floaty is the word that I kept using. Like you didn't feel fully in control a lot of the time, but once you grasped the controls, it felt really fun. But it wasn't crisp, and there's a lot of times where you walk into a room or you hit a weird wall and then you try and sprint and then you just don't sprint and then you kind of like jar around. There was just little areas that were tough. So I'm going to give it a 7. Story and narrative, the quality of the storyline, character development, dialogue, and how engaging and immersive the overall narrative experience is. I didn't immerse myself as much as I, maybe could have in this game. The world was interesting. Everything was super quick and you didn't really get to care about a lot of the characters. Again, didn't go out of my way to really talk to everybody. The bond between the main character and this fox god creature, was interesting, but not really super dynamic. They hated each other one minute, and then I guess they're cool the next minute. He's lying, and then he's telling the truth. There just wasn't a lot of depth to it, and there could have been. I didn't read all the letters and stuff, so I really wasn't super interested in it. But coming off games like Secret of Mana, Claire Obscure, these really big storytelling games, it just didn't live up. I'm gonna give it a 6. Audio and sound design, the quality of the sound effects, music, and voice acting, and how well it contributed to the atmosphere. There was decent music. The voice acting was fine. I liked the voice of the fox. I liked the voice of the last bad guy. Some of the creatures sounded good, but nothing that's like jumping out. I would say they did a very, an above average job here. We're going to do an 8. Replay value, the extent to which the game encourages replayability through multiple endings, side quests, new game plus. I could never see myself playing this game again, just because I don't think that it is. There's not anything I want to go back and do. I don't want to play it on a harder difficulty because I just assume it's going to be miserably unfun. And I don't really care for the clout chase in this game. I'd rather, if I was going to go do something crazy like 100%, I would do it in a game that, a Claire Obscure or an Elden Ring or something like that. I wouldn't do it here, personally. There's side quests, but nothing to really grab your attention. So I'm going to give this a 5 point. Difficulty and balance. How well the game is balanced in terms of challenging, difficulty progression, and fairness, catering both to casual and hardcore gamers. I hate how the difficulty is in this game. You'll be walking through crowds of people like there's no issue, and then you'll get to a boss and it's just a dead stop. And not like a dead stop in the sense of, okay, we're at a challenging part, let's grind it out. You just feel so weak. Like unfun weak. I'm not a big person. I don't like to go grind. I don't like to spend hours trying to get leveled up. And this game doesn't have attributes. So you can't just go and mass up strength. You can get other abilities. You can level up your equipment. It will definitely help you. But I just didn't like the big walls of it. I feel like for a more casual experience, people are going to be like, oh, well, I can't beat this boss, so I guess I have to go grind for 25 hours to be able to progress. That's not super fun to me. If you're just good, it's not too bad, but I don't know. I felt like the big stops and difficulty were just not well placed and not well set up. I'm going to give that a 5. World design exploration, the richness and detail of the game world, the diversity of environments, and the sense of discovery and exploration offered to the player. Yeah, the world was pretty cool for the most part. You can definitely run around. There's areas to explore. There's things to see. Like I said before, there's semblances of major beauty in this game. Awesome areas, awesome scenes, but it's not going to blow you away, right? I'm going to give it a 7.5. Okay, performance and technical stability. How well the game runs technically, including factors such as frame rate, loading times, optimization across different platforms, absence of bugs and glitches. This game has a lot of issues. I didn't really complain about it a lot when I was playing because I was just playing, but there's times where there's so much stuff going on screen, the game's running slow. It literally feels like you're lagging in a single player game. There's frame rate issues, there's glitches, there's pauses in combat. The game crashed 3 times. It was tough to load in a couple times. I had to restart the game multiple times. There's a lot to be desired here. I don't know anything. I don't know the story about the developers, the producers, nothing like that. Maybe it's a small team. Didn't do my research on that, but there was a lot to be desired here. This was probably the worst part about this game. I'm going to give it a 3. No multiplayer, so I'm not sure there. All right, innovation and originality. So the extent to which the game introduces fresh ideas, innovative gameplay mechanics, or unique twists on existing genres, contributing to its overall creativity and distinctiveness. It's a Souls-like I've said. It does some stuff a little bit different, but there wasn't anything major in the game where I'm like, oh, they're doing something new. This is different. This is refreshing. You're making Souls-like games fun again. I'm like, it's like the whole time I was like, I'd rather just be playing Dark Souls. Like the movement was the closest thing to innovation. I did enjoy the movement once you got comfortable with it, but there wasn't enough. There wasn't enough new shit to really justify being innovative. They know the formula. Everyone knows the formula. Souls games have crazy bosses that are super hard, make it challenging. It just felt like store brand Dark Souls. So I'm gonna give it points because the movement was fun, but I'm not gonna give it much. And give it a 6. And then hours versus dollars. So this is on the Game Pass, so I did play it for free. However, we will check how much it is on Steam. Flintlock, $10. Okay, well, is that on sale or is that retail? Oh, retail price $40. I don't know about that, guys. I don't know if it's a $40 value or not. I'm gonna say maybe. I'm gonna say maybe $40. I beat it. I don't know if my Xbox, if this is correct. Let me give a refresh here. Let me close out and get back in and see if that's my actual time to complete, because it feels like more like 10. Yeah, okay, 10.6. So 10 hours, 40-ish minutes, give or take, to beat the game. $40, you're getting, I don't know. That's not really a great value. And we didn't really go for achievements, but we got almost half of them just with one playthrough. So I don't know, man. I don't think it's $40 value, but it's definitely not $60, $70 value. I would think that it would be fine if it was 30. Obviously, you have Games Pass, you can get it with the Games Pass, but $30 for 10 hours, I'm gonna give it a 6. So let's break out the handy dandy calculator. Shout out Blues Clues. If you know, you know. And let's get our score here. 7.5, 7, 6, 8, 5.5, 5, 7.5, 3, 6, 6. So that's going to come out. We're going to round that to 6.2. 6.2 out of 10. That's about where I do feel. You know, I could give it a couple points here and there, maybe bump it up to a 7 overall, but 6.2 is where I'm going to stick it. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with my review. If you have Games Pass, it's worth the time. If you don't, I would wait until it's on sale. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.